Yo, yo, yo. What's the dealio, y'all? What's the dealio? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? If you tapping in with me, man, say what's up. Say what's up. Let me know where y'all tuning in from in the comments in the chat. All right. Peerless Beard. So I gotta watch later. I'm busy at work. Can you give levels for QQQ? Appreciate you in the work. Put in. I'll be. Yeah. Yeah. We could go over QQQ. I think the QQQ is gonna they could go crazy tomorrow. And the SPY honestly. So we gonna chart today. We gonna find some setups for tomorrow. What's up, QTZ? Eleanor, it's good to see you. How you doing, Eleanor? James, what's up, James? All right. Um, let me. All right. Key Alex, what up? What up? Trees, what's up? What's up? How you feeling? If you guys are tapping in, let me know in the comments where you guys are tapping in from. All right, lovely 777. How you doing? All right, trees, what up? So listen, y'all. If you just tuned in, be sure to like this video. Okay, like this video. We about to go over the game plan for tomorrow. It's looking like we about to gap up. NVDA saved the market, so we're going to see what happens tomorrow. Okay. Shali, what's up? What's up? Jerry, what up? Genesis, how you feeling? Lola, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Tina Young, what's up? CC from Cali. Shout out to Cali, man. That's where I'm from. What part of Cali? So let's go over SPY and let's go over IWM and QQQ as well. Army of One, what's up? FDRs, what up? Be sure to like this video, y'all. All right. Bo Diddley. Bo Diddley. Shout out to shout out to Atlanta. I love when I be hearing the random names. Bo Diddley. All right. So what's up, Darian? How you doing? So we have SPY, QQQ. We got an IWM. She said Inland Empire. Oh, okay, that's what's up. I miss Cali. I feel you, Lola. All right, so let's get into it, man. We're going to find some setups tomorrow. Now, first things first, what I will say is everything is gapped up right now. And so I'm looking at the charts. What's up, Doria? How you doing? Everything right now is gapped up. For the most part, we talking about 5%. We talking about 3% up. We talking about 10% up, 7% up right now. So we're gonna have to really we're gonna have to be pretty careful tomorrow because these levels off the daily time frame are gonna be thrown off a little bit depending on where we open up in the market tomorrow. Okay, so that's what we're gonna have to work around. So let's go through the SPY and then let's go break it down on the SPY, IWM, and QQQ. Okay, be sure to like this video if y'all are tuning in, and also drop in the comments where you guys is tuning in from. All right, so we got IWM here, we got SPY. All right, so currently it says the SPY is at 662. James Alex, he hit Coinbase today. You hit Coinbase today? Yeah. We had that on the watch list from yesterday. So right now the SPY is at, what up, JVG? How you feeling? So the SPY right now is at 670, okay? The SPY is at 670. And so we need to, so we got an order block up here, okay? We got an order block up here. Yo, James, how much did you make off of Coinbase today? Quinardra. She in South Carolina. That's what's up. What up, Gerald? He said, I hit your baby IWM. There we go, 50%. Banger. All right, so we got a fair value. Not a fair value gap. What up, Kelton? Tuning in from Seattle. So we got an order block up here at 675, okay? So SPY right now is at 670, okay? So we could gap up and open at 670. We could open up a little bit lower, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say we got this level at 670.61, okay? And as you can see, we rejected off of that level right here. It's a fair value gap. So I want you guys to pay attention to 670.71. 61. Okay? So these are your levels for tomorrow, okay? So we got first level to pay attention to, 670.61. Levels. All right. 670.61 is a level that I want you to pay attention to tomorrow. If we can get above 670.61, then we should be coming up to 675. All right. Also, if the market sentiment is good, then we can continue to remain bullish, right? Now, we always have to think about SPY coming down to fill the gap, right? They gapped up right now. We got to see where they go in the morning. We don't know where the market is going to open at, right? So we have to ask ourselves, where can it pull back to? So if they closed, if the SPY closed at 662 and they're up $8, right? And they gap up to 670, we got $8 to the downside, right? $8. That's only like 1%. But they could come down and gap down. So they could come down to 669. They could come down to 668. And they could come down to 667. All right? So I want you to, depending on where we open up tomorrow, don't get too excited. Okay? I want you guys to know that we got a gap to the, we're going to have a gap to the downside. I don't know how big the gap is going to be. All right? But 670.61, that's going to be your magic number. Okay? This is the level I want you to pay attention to, 670.61. If we can get above there, then we coming up to at least 673. All right? But if we're the sentiment is bullish, we could come touch 675 and come touch this order block. But we need to get above right here at that 670.61 level. All right? If you want to be conservative, you say above 671.68. Okay? So that's for the SPY right there. Depending on where we open up, if we open up above 670.61, then we may come down a little bit and then go up, or we could come down and fill the gap and then we could go higher. All right. The whole market is going to be gapped up tomorrow. So we got to see how stocks respond to what happens and how investors, if they, stay in it, or, if they want to sell and take profits. All right. James said he caught the last $5 move. He made over $200. Hey, shout out to that, James, for real. For sure, for sure. What's up, Dr. V? How you doing? NB316 from Detroit. What's up? What up? What up? There's a lot of people that subscribe from Detroit here. So that's the SPY. All right. And then we got IWM. Okay. So as you can see, once again, they gapped up here. So for IWM, I'm going to be paying attention to 236. All right. 236.37. Calls above 236.37. All right. Calls above 236.37. All right. That is the magic number. If we break above 236.37, IWM is going to come up to 237 and then potentially 241. Okay? So if we break above today's highs, you're going to see IWM do some numbers. You're going to be able to get 100, 200, 300% on IWM tomorrow. All right? Only if we get above the high of day. All right? Now, let's say we come down tomorrow for IWM, then we're going to say puts below 232.45. Puts below 232.45. All right. Puts below 232.45. And then we go to the 4 hour. It's looking pretty bullish though, right? It's looking like we just got to get through a couple levels, but it's honestly looking pretty solid. Okay. So those are my levels on IWM. And then let's do QQQ. They're gapped up. I think they're at like 604 right now already. So, but 606. So for QQQ, I'm going to say calls above 606.01. All right. On QQQ, calls above 606.01. All right. So that's what I would say on QQQ. Right. They gapped up. They already gapped up right now. If I'm going to look at them real quick. QQ. They're at 610 right now. Oh wow. So they're at 610. So they're already above right here. So 612. So tomorrow we might see QQQ. They could touch 615. All right, before they reach a rejection. Right, depending on where they open up at. All right. And then if we do come down, I would say puts below 594.75. Right? Puts below 95.74. For 74. I will do 594.61. All right, puts below 594.61. Okay, so that's what we got on QQQ. All right, let me know if that makes sense on SPY, IWM, and QQQ. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Tapping in from the Midwest. What up? He said, as a day trader, to need to be watching the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 30-minute chart at the same time. That's what's up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got they style. You know what I'm saying? Some people are gonna say stay off the 30 minutes. Some people are gonna say they only focus on the 1 minute. Some people are gonna say they only focus on the 15 minute. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. Shout out to being extremely profitable. You know what I'm saying? Good stuff. But everybody got their own way of doing this stuff. All right. So the next thing, so let's really talk about NVIDIA. If you guys are tuning in, like this video real quick. All right. Let's get these likes up in this video, and then let me know where you guys are tuning in from in the chat. Okay. So IWM, QQQ, SPY, the whole market is gapping up tomorrow. So it's going to be one of those things tomorrow where you got to know where a stock could be coming down to, right? Or going up to. And that's every day. But like, because the whole market is green right now, well, a lot of the market is green right now, and things have gapped up, then we got to be patient to see, are we going to sell off and come and fill that gap? Or are we going to continue to go? Are we going to consolidate and then sell off? Like, we got to really see what goes on here, right? So we don't want to try to predict what happens, right? As a trader, you don't get paid to predict, right? You only get paid to, be disciplined and do what you have to do in the trade and be able to, in real time, execute. That's what you get paid for. So we could talk about what we think is going to happen and what predictions, but that's not how we get paid. You get what I'm saying? So we got to really see what happens with SPY tomorrow and IWM in the whole market. Okay. Vinny, how about the SPY for the downside? Did I say the downside? SPY. So yeah. So I said, okay, so 670. And then to the downside, I would say 658.77, okay? Puts below 658.77. Puts below. All right, so 658.77 puts below that. But what up, Best Beezy? How you feeling? So here's the thing, right? The downside move is going to come from the upside rejection, okay? Remember this. Write this down right here. Sometimes we don't need to be looking at the downside levels. We need to be looking at where is the stock going to reject that and find its new resistance, right? Because if the SPY close at 662 and they gap up to 670, 671, we got to ask ourselves, where can it go to get rejected? That's the $1 million question. Because from that, you're going to be able to create put opportunities once we see the stock reject and it start to come down. And then we know where it's going to go down to because it has a gap to fill to the downside. Okay? Let me know if that makes sense. All right? Let me know if that makes sense. So you want to know if a stock is up, if a stock gaps up $3, $5, $10, you want to ask yourself, how close are we to the resistance level, the next resistance level? Because what could happen is we can gap up into the resistance, right? We gap up into the resistance. The stock doesn't have any more room to go up. And that's why at market open, the stock sells off right down, right? So sometimes it's not about the downside. It's we gapped up. Where are we gapping up to? Did we gap up over resistance? Right? Did we gap up at resistance and we're about to sell off at market open? Right? These are the intricacies that you have to know and understand for the market and knowing how to trade. Okay? Because it ain't always about the downside. Because if we gap up $10 and then the next resistance level is another $4 away, we don't need to be focusing on the downside. We need to be focusing on the rejection point, because when we reject from that resistance level, we're going to come back down and find the support, right? This is how you could find big, massive opportunities in the market every single day. All right? So let me know if that makes sense. Okay? I like to make sure that when I'm doing these lives, I'm not just saying, buy this and that's it, right? I like to make sure I give thesis, analysis, if this, then this, right? Because I like to make sure that people are understanding, right? Understanding how to really do this and how to maneuver, and not feel like you're still confused once you leave my lives, once you leave my videos. I want you to be clear, right, after coming to me and after watching these videos. So that's why I like to take it step by step. Okay? So that is what we have for SPY to the downside. We're gapping up. We need to know where we're gapping up in relevance to our resistance levels, right? If you are not using order blocks, you cheating yourself, right? Make sure you're using order blocks. It's way better than the resistance and the support. I promise you that. All right, I promise you that. I gave up support and resistance. My new support and resistance is an order block, right? So if you're not using order block tools or indicators, you need to use them. All right. And that's how you'll know if we gap up, are we going to sell off at market open or are we going to go higher, right? By knowing where the order blocks are at. The tool that I use is Lux Algo, Price Action Concepts. It's a paid indicator, but it's worth every penny every single month. All right. He said, yeah, that makes perfect sense because some of the biggest order blocks are made overnight. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And so when we wake up and I could see where the order blocks are at, it makes everything much simpler. All right. So we gap up over the high of day. Will the high of day be support? Yes, it could. Absolutely. But it might come down a little bit and then go up, right? Rejection points are order blocks, fair value gaps. Yes, MB316. Rejection points, I call order blocks, I just call those levels, but I call those fair value gaps my rejection points, right? That's just something that I do for myself. That's just something that I refer to, right? When I see fair value gaps, I already know what time it is. A big move is about to come to the upside or to the downside. It just depends on where we bounce from, or do we break through that fair value gap. All right, because buyers and sellers are sitting in those areas, right? I know the higher the time frame, the stronger the order block. Why do the order blocks change with each time frame? It's the way I look at it is, because I don't have the textbook answer, but the way I look at it is we're all trading on different time frames. And so this is why it's important to trade on, like, know what time frame you're trading on, because the same way you could be seeing a pattern, right? So for example, let me give you guys an example, right? So watch this. So I took a trade on Robinhood today, right? So I took a trade on Robinhood today. Now, I took an entry. I took an entry right here, okay? I took an entry after this 3 bar on the 15-minute. I entered in right here, right? This was my entry after this 3 bar. Now, this looks bearish, and then this looked like it was going up, right? If you go to the 30-minute time frame, this was a failed 2 down, right? So at this point, I was down about 12% right here. But I stayed in the trade. Why did I stay in the trade? I stayed in the trade because on the 2-hour time frame, we were on a failed 2 up, right? We were on a failed 2 up. So on a smaller time frame, it looked like we was going higher, but the bigger the time frame, it gave me the direction that where we could be going. I stayed in the trade, and then go back to the 15-minute time frame. What happened? It ended up coming down and flushing, and I was able to get out of this trade right here, right? I took profits right here, okay? I say that to say it looked bullish in this instant on a 15-minute, but on a 2-hour, it was bearish, right? It was bearish. So when I'm looking at order blocks in different time frames, you got to understand that each time frame represents a time period of sessions, right? So if you have this candle and this candle, it'll create a fair value gap on the 2-hour time frame, right? But if you drop down to the 15-minute time frame, we got a fair value gap here and we got a fair value gap here. Why? Because it's a smaller time frame, it's more candlesticks, which is going to mean that it's going to be more fair value gaps, right? So the order blocks are changing on these different time frames, kind of the same reason that the fair value gaps show up more on a shorter time frame, a smaller time frame than a bigger or a longer time frame, right? Each time frame is representing, it's like its own world, right? The 5-minute time frame is what's going on in the 5-minute world. The 30-minute time frame is representing what's going on in the 30-minute world, right? So when I'm looking at order blocks, I'm looking at the order blocks off the daily time frame and then the 6-hour and like the 4 or the 2-hour time frame, right? And then I'll match it up and see if I see the same thing in the same area on the 30-minute, right? So that's what I would say to answer your question, Adam. Okay? If that makes sense, let me know. All right? If you guys are tuning in, be sure to like this video, okay? We're going over the market, NVDA, right? NVDA earnings, post earnings game plan, right? And then we got the levels for the SPY, IWM, and QQQ, right? So we did all of that. Now I'm telling you guys that these setups already triggered to the upside because the whole market has gapped up today, right? So we got to see where stocks open at, and we have to see if they open close to resistance or above resistance, order blocks, and then we'll know what direction to take these stocks in. All right. Best B said, if you know how to measure and what you're looking for forever value gas, some of them are stronger than others. Some people trade on the 1 minute. Some people trade on the fathers. Yeah, exactly. So it's like everybody is going to have their own way of doing things, right? And it's just like you got to know what works best for you. All right. So let's do something a little bit different today, because the whole market is gapped up, right? Because the whole market has gapped up, let's go through any questions that you guys have about stocks, right? Or the charts. Let's just go through some things, because any setup that I see on a daily, I know it's going to be invalidated by tomorrow, right? So this is one of them days where if you are not already in a trade, and we open up and we gap up tomorrow, you're going to have to be really good at trading unless we just come and fill the gaps to the downside. If we come and fill gaps to the downside, it's going to be easy to just ride puts to the downside, right? But if we consolidate or we go up a little bit and then we reverse, but we don't fill a gap, it's going to get a little bit confusing for a lot of people, right? So I say that to say, any setups that I see on the daily time frame, it's not going to trigger properly because we're already going to be 3 to 5% up, right? On that stock once market opens. All right, let me know if that makes sense. Right? So that's why it looks so important, because measure the fair value gap. If we didn't have that, you would have to get inside each. Exactly, right? I'm gonna make a video for Lux Algo, the price action concepts, but that's what I'm saying, and that's like Best B, he gets it, right? This creates fair value gaps for you. So instead of seeing one fair value gap and making the fair value gap for that like that, this automatically shows you all the fair value gaps on all your time frames and all your order blocks, right? So it's like, that's a cheat code. You see what I'm saying? It reminds me of the last scene of Men in Black. It started close on Earth, then it pulled back and you see the whole universe. Yep. That's them bigger time frames. I like XYZ, hoping for a pullback and maybe takeoff. Yeah, XYZ is a mover. I've been talking about XYZ. Applied is up 10% after hours as well. All right. Spell a lot of time. Now, sometimes I be understanding what you're trying to say, but sometimes, sometimes I'll be like, huh? When I be reading stuff, you be typing. But yeah, Google, right? I knew it wasn't really the best to short Google because Warren Buffett, right, invested in them. So I know that they're going to be coming up, but they just hit $300 after hours. So Google is going to be up. They're going to do numbers tomorrow, because if they hold above 300, they're going to go to like 310, 315 very fast, because they broke the psychological level at $300, right? Who else we got? I'm looking at Tesla. They're at 412 right now. They're up 2% after hours. Google, Apple, where they at? Apple, they flat right now. MU is up 4%, right? They're up $9 after hours. Oracle is up 8%. So tomorrow, the QQQ could go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because these are all stocks that are, being followed by the NASDAQ. These are all tech stocks. All these tech stocks are going up, right? Oracle, AMD, Amazon, right? Amazon is up $4 after hours, right? Meta is up. He said, what do I think about Meta? Meta is Meta, right? Meta is the one. Like, Meta is solid. They're up 2% after hours. They're at a big discount right now. So if you could buy shares, get shares. MU prints money. MU is a money printer for real, right? Who else we got? We already know NVDA, they had earnings. They look like they on a bull flag right now, right? Reddit is up. They're not in the S&P yet. Palantir is up 5% right now. Palantir been having some trouble, right? Oh yeah, James, if you in MU and AVGO tomorrow, you gonna bank. I would just say pay attention to pre-market and kind of see, because it might sell off at market open. So if you I would just say, depending on what's happening at market open, you may want to get out at market so that you can just secure your profits, right? What do you say? Tomorrow gonna be explosive. It is, whether we go up or down, right? He said it's that Pittsburgh slang. We make up words over here. I feel you. Yeah, MU is volatile, right? AVGO is definitely a banger. AVGO is they make big moves. Okay. So unless the market goes down tomorrow to fill gaps on the downside, will be difficult to trade unless you know rejection points. Unless you know rejection points and you know how to read price action, right? Because like, think about it, right? TSM, yeah, they up, but my calls kind of far out the money. Okay. Yeah, it be like that. So to answer your question, MB, right? So let me break this down for you, right? And anybody else who may not fully know what I'm saying. Um, if you guys are tuning in, like this video if y'all haven't already, okay? So let's say shorts. All right. So let's say let's go to the daily time frame, right? Yeah, AVGO be going silly. So like when a stock opens up close by where it closed, it's easy to trade because like look at this right here, right? On this day right here, hood closed right here and it opened up a little bit higher. So it's like, okay, if it comes below the low of day, then we going lower, right? It's very simple. But when we have a gap up, like we're about to have, like right now, hood is at 122. Where is 122? Okay. 122 is right here, right? So if we open up at 122, we got to think, okay, where could it go to? It could reject at this 9 EMA right here at 123, or it could keep going higher and it could come to 127.37. But its ATR is $8, right? So 122 to 127, that's $5 right there. And then it gapped up another 4. So I don't know if it's going to get here, right? So you got to know where your rejection points are at. But when the stock opens up close by where it closed the previous day, it is easier to say, okay, if we break above here, then we're going to do this, right? But when you think about it, right, it's like if we already made the move that we would usually make in a day, so the gap ups that we have right now, these are, if the market was open and the stock was rallying and going crazy, this is the type of movement that the stock would have for a whole day. Okay, so stocks are about to have a similar move that it would take them a whole day of the market, and it just happened overnight, right? And because of that, you don't know what's going to happen afterwards, right? So yeah, I hope that answers your question. He said, I do supporting resistance, but the value gap thing, I'm interested. Can you elaborate? So basically, I got a whole video. I got like, I think 2 videos about fair value gaps, right? I break it all down, but basically it's about liquidity, right? When you understand liquidity, you understand the stock market. So basically what happens is it's these invisible gaps on the chart where price is not tested, right? Price is not tested. It's a gap, right? But you got to know how to find this gap. So what happens is stocks are going up, but there's like 2 fair value gaps on the charts. and then the stock will come down, and then it'll go back up. Why does it do that? Because it came inside of that fair value gap and it got liquidity so it could go higher, right? And so when you learn how to spot these fair value gaps, you will know where a price is going to come down to, or where it's going to go up to, and if it's going to reject or if it's going to break through, right? So yeah, and then ATR is simple. It's the average true range, right? What is the average range that this stock moves? That's what the ATR is. So it just lets me know. All right. So my charts, simple, right? I got my Lux Algo, my order blocks. If I turn this off right here, okay? If I turn the SATY off, and then my order blocks, where we at? Let's see. I got the RSI right here. All right, so we turn that off. All right. Boom, Strat Assistant. All right, so I have EMAs. I got the 9, the 21, and the 50, and the 200 EMA. I have the VWAP. I pay attention to it. And then I got the Bollinger Bands, but I haven't used the Bollinger Bands in forever. Then I got my ATR. Got my ATR set up. And then I got my orb range. That's set up. I got my Strat Assistant. All right. My Strat Assistant. If you trade the Strat, I use the Strat Assistant. And then I got my Lux Algo. Right. My Lux Algo is that's all my levels. My order blocks and my fair value gaps. Right. So that's what my Lux Algo is, and that's it. All right. That's it. So yeah, and then he said it's a rational move to either the upside or the downside that creates an unfair value. Yep. So that's why prices most likely return. Yep, to get liquidity and recalibrate the stock market. Simple as that, right? Simple as that. Got it. It's like the gap between the lower part of the candle and the top. Yep, exactly. It's a 3-candle sequence. Okay. It's to the upside or the downside. It's a 3-candle sequence. It's the top and bottom wick, and that gap in the middle, that's the fair value gap, right? Exactly. You don't have to do it manually. Exactly, right? So for tomorrow, the stocks that I'm watching, right? So tomorrow, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pay attention to IWM, right? What up, CMC? Hey, salute CMC. How you feeling? OG. Hey man, we gotta respect the OGs in the building, man. What up, CMC? How you feeling? So tomorrow, I'm gonna really be paying attention to I'm gonna pay attention to IWM, okay, and I'm gonna be paying attention to QQQ as well, right? I'm gonna pay attention to QQQ also because all these chip stocks and tech stocks are gonna be up. So QQQ could do numbers tomorrow. All right. So I'm gonna rock with QQQ. All right. I'm gonna be paying attention to IWM, small caps, QQQ, tech stocks, right? And currently I'm in a SoFi swing, right now. Got in today at what, 2676, 2671. I got in, and I'm looking for SoFi to come up to 28.03, right? That's where I would like for SoFi to come up to. Um, right now, where they at? Right now, SoFi is at 27.72. They're up 3.7% in after hours. So if that holds and maybe they go a little bit higher, they could go to $28. And then I would take profits there. If they get above here, then they could come up to $29, $30, right? So yeah, that's what I like looking at. MB said Hims has 2 1 bars on. I might have to pay for lunch tomorrow. MB, let's go look at Hims. This is my favorite setup right here. Let me go find Hims real quick. All right, y'all. So check this out. So let's see where Hims is at in after hours right now. Hims, they're at 36.65. Okay. So they're at 36.65. All right. So look, right? Before I say this, none of this is financial advice. Okay. None of this is financial advice, but this is one of my favorite setups off of the strat. Let me tell you why. I'm going to show you why. Tomorrow, Hims is going to have an explosive day. Okay? You're going to be able to change your life tomorrow on Hims off of this setup. And I'm going to show you exactly why and exactly what's going to happen. All right? Watch this. Now, before we go to Hims, let's go to Shopify. Okay? Shopify over here had a double inside day. Okay? A double inside day. A 1 candle and a 1 candle. And then look what happened. They blasted off the next day. Okay? I'm talking about blasted off. They consolidated for 2 days straight. All right? Let's go look at IBM. Okay. Look what happened. Oh, okay, Michelle. Now I know who you are. So look at IBM. They had 2 candles, 2 1 bars back to back. And then look what happened the next day. They blasted off. They went from 309 all the way up to 317. Okay, that's a $7 move, right? $8 move. That'll change your life right there. Okay? So now we got Hims. We got Hims now, okay? And we got 2 1 candles. So I'm going to tell you guys the game plan here. Right? So we got right here at 36.60. If you want to be conservative, you could do 36.75. We're going to say calls above 36.75. Okay? Calls on Hims. All right? And tomorrow night, I want everybody to let me know if you played this and how much money you made on Hims. This is free game right here, okay? This is free game. So if Hims is already above this level, right? Let me see what I said. I said calls above 36.75. That's yesterday's 1 bar, just to be conservative, right? If they get above 36.75, you enter in some calls, and they gonna come up to 37.62, and then they gonna come up to 38.18. Okay? So you could get a $1.50 move on a stock that's only trading at $38 per share. Right? The market sentiment is bullish right now. Hims is about to go bonkers, okay? Off of this 1-1 setup right here, okay? Whenever a stock consolidates for 2 days straight, it's about to make a massive move. A massive move, all right? Listen, I'm giving this to y'all for free. I'm about to pay attention and watch Hims tomorrow morning because Michelle put it on my radar. We got 2-1 candles on a daily time frame. It ain't nothing to talk about when we got a setup like this. All right? It ain't nothing to talk about when we got a setup like this. Know your level, take entry once it breaks, and ride it up. That's all you got to do. We ain't got no resistance until the top of this candle, so we got a whole dollar to let this thing ride, right? You go to the 4 hour, look, we ain't got nothing until 37.96 on the 4 hour, right? We get above that 36.75, take that entry. All right? That's free game right there. That's, man, he said, look at the weekly. Let's look at the weekly. Oh, yeah. It's time, right? Came down to this fair value gap. Bounced in this area. Buyer stepped in. So it may end the week on a failed 2 down. If this candle ends the week on a failed 2 down, right? That would mean that it came up to 37.70 or higher or 38.46, right? So, like I say, above 36.75, take entries on calls. It's been consolidating for 2 days straight, which means that it's mustering all its energy up to make a move. And what's been happening? We came all the way down here. We came all the way down here, y'all. What this means is it's getting ready to go crazy. Now, let's say that it goes up, right? I mean, down. Let's just say it goes down. Same concept, okay? Same concept. If we get below 34.35, enter in the puts. If you want to be conservative, 34.15, right? Puts below 34.15. All right. Puts below 34.15, calls above 36.75, 2-1 candles on a daily time frame. A big move is coming. You guys all heard it here first. All right. This setup right here is explosive. It'll change your life in one trade. Still respect your risk management and all of that stuff, but you can make a lot of money off this one trade. All right. Shout out to you, Michelle. I know it's private, but I said, how much would you put into Hims on shares? I mean, it all depends, right? At the end of the day, the goal is always to get 100 shares or something, right? So if that's the case, that would be my first goal. So if the stock is trading at $34, $35, 100 shares is 3,500, right? So I always want to start with $100. 100 shares if I'm like starting a position, right? So if I don't have any shares, of a stock, then I'm gonna either do 50-50 or I'm gonna do 100 up like at once. All right. So I like to buy in increments and chunks of 100 or 50, right? Or 25 if the stock is like $700 or something like that, right? Maybe I'll do a little bit less, but I like to get in chunks, right? So I could get to those goals faster, because once you have 100 shares of a stock, then you can start doing other things and leveraging the ownership of those stocks. All right. So when you say how much would I put into shares, I personally think that Hims right now is at a very low level. It's very cheap. It's at a steep discount right now. when you looking at hymns, when you looking at hymns, they are under the 200 EMA grossly, right? So this is the time you want to buy when a stock is below the 200 EMA, right? It's below the 200 EMA right here, okay? It's made some really nice moves. You've seen where it could go. $68, $70 right here, right? So if it retraces from here to here, that's a $30 move, right? So if I put, let's say I go buy 100 shares, right? And that's $3,500, okay? So we got $3,500, right? In this, not the trade, but $3,500 in shares, right? That's 100 shares of hymns. Now, let's say in 4 months, hymns goes back up to $70, okay? So what's 70, right? $70 per share times 100 shares, that's 7,000. That's 35%, $3,500 in profit. That's 100% return. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I would say. All right. He said, "What's up, Caesar? I'm watching from Boston. What up, Caesar? Yeah. Tap in after the live. Okay. So, we went over a lot of stuff. Obviously, we went over SPY, QQQ, IWM, but we also went over kind of what to expect tomorrow. I'll say it one more time. We're going to be gapping up, right? So you want to make sure you know where we're gapping up to. Are we gapping up into an order block? Are we gapping up above an order block, right? Because that's going to dictate if we sell off or if we continue to rally, right? And so you got to ask yourself, are we getting ready to come fill a gap? Is that what price action is telling me? Or are we going to continue to run? And so we got to let the market open. We got to let it do what it do. And then that's going to help us know what we need to do. All right. So there's no one size fits all answer, right? We got to be patient and we got to read the price action, and that's going to let us know what we need to do. All right. So I'm looking at hymns tomorrow, right? Hymns tomorrow is my main watch, right? That's why I like doing these sessions, right? These live charting sessions, because I'm gonna find my setups and I'm gonna share them with y'all, and then y'all gonna go make money, right? But then you gonna have people that say, hey, this is what I see on the charts that I may not have been thinking about, and then boom, right? Then I'm gonna go look at that. I'm gonna go trade that, and then we're gonna get some money together, right? That's how we play this game. Okay. Hey, CMC said you a must watch after NVDA earnings. Hey, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. All right. I just want to be consistent. I want to be a trusted voice, right? For all of y'all out there. If you beginning, if you intermediate, right? I want to be a trusted voice. And I want you to know that, you know, I'm not just somebody just saying something on YouTube, but we actually got a track record. You could go back over a year and you could look at all of my content and you could see not only the growth, but you could see the accuracy of the things that I've been saying. Okay. So yeah, I appreciate y'all, man, for tapping in consistently. I appreciate everybody who's new, everybody who's been subscribing. I appreciate all y'all for really tapping in, man. Commenting, watching the videos, liking the videos, all of that stuff, right? I appreciate all of y'all watching right now, right? I know it's almost 10 o'clock on the East Coast, but I sincerely do appreciate each and every one of you taking time to spend with me, right, on a consistent basis, and we getting this money together, right, virtually and digitally. So shout out to all of y'all, man, seriously. All right. He said, you giving so much knowledge for free here. Hey, I appreciate that. For sure, man. All right, JVG. For sure. Appreciate that, JVG. I'm going on a year. Yeah, Best B. We all going on a year, right? Come February, it's going to be 1 year in the Prosperity Collective, right? Best B started in February and he just quit his job, right? He just quit his job. Now he free from that. full time, right? Trading, doing his thing. So, so shout out to him, man. Seriously. All right. Shout out to him. He was able to quit, walk away. You know what I'm saying? Doing a lot of labor, right? Physical labor. Now he could take the time to do what he wants and what's important to him, right? So that's what this is all about, man. Really changing lives. We got Lovely, right? What's up, Pamela? Lovely be killing it, right? She be doing her thing consistently, compounding that account, right? You ain't got to make $10,000 a day to make $10,000 a day. You see what I did there? In the stock market, the way it works is you start off small and then you grow, right? So if you want to get to a point where you're making $10,000 a day, you got to get to a point where you learn how to make $5 a day, right? You got to get to a point where you learn how to walk away from the market when you're up, right? You got to learn all these small disciplines first before you get to the big money. So if you want a lot of money, you got to learn how to work with a little bit of money. And you got to learn how to be content with little small wins in the beginning, because you will never get big wins if you don't appreciate and master the small wins. All right? She said, February for me too. Yep. Yeah, QTZ been with us since day one as well. All right? Since day one, literally. Right? It was Army of One. What up? What up? Yep, Michelle, day one. And the thing about it is too, because I remember I was sharing my trades of the day when I was making, 200 in this trade, 300 in this trade, 400 in this trade, and I would just make these videos, right? Anybody that really been rocking with me since day one, they knew that a lot of y'all found me when I was doing trades of the day, right? And then we slowly started, putting out other content, and everybody in the comments was like, where is the Discord at? They was like, where's the Discord at? And I was like, you know what I'm saying? Just chill. Because I wasn't trying to I wasn't trying to do that, right? But then it was like the calling, right? When people start really asking, you got to deliver sometimes, right? So yeah, man, it's been people that really been, rocking since day one. So shout out to all of y'all. Michelle said, I started trading the end of last December, and then I found you right when I started. That's beautiful. So we definitely helped you with the learning curve. You know what I'm saying? So he said, yeah, trading made it so I do my own jobs. Yeah, and pay laborers now. There we go. Yeah, so you switching it. You know what I'm saying? Like you were the contractor, like the worker. Now you know what I'm saying? You finding contractors. So shout out to that, man, for real. All right, so yeah, man, the stock market, listen, y'all, you gonna take L's, you gonna make big money, right? You gonna have a lot of lessons that you gonna learn. At the end of the day, the key is to ensure that you keep learning and you keep growing, right? And you wanna go with the flow, right? Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Don't try to rush things. Don't try to force things. Whenever you force things, you're gonna take an L. All right. He said I locked in. Yeah. Hey, I feel like a lot of us just locked in. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure you was on YouTube and you just tired of hearing the same stuff over and over again, right? You tired of people gatekeeping. You tired of people not really giving no real value in the video. And I was like, man, I want to give real value in the video. You know what I'm saying? I want to give real value to people on YouTube because I'm tired of searching and I can't really find nothing. Right? So I said, man, I'm going to be that person where I give selflessly and whatever happens is going to happen. Right? So she said the fact that you actually broke down the trades of the day and how you explain the process. Yeah, every day. Right? And I was literally just sharing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I was just sharing what I was doing. That's it. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to sell nothing. I was just like, look, y'all, I learned how to trade. This is what I'm doing. Right? And that's why sometimes I'll, share a trade or whatever and break it down so that people could continue to learn. But at the end of the day, for me, I wanted to create a YouTube channel that wasn't out there, right? Yeah, them paywalls, exactly. Right? Them paywalls. Davita said, The Discord link is in the description of every single video, right? Every single video is in the description. So even this video is in the description. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I mean? Like over time, everybody you're gonna continue to see, right? It's not about the money, it's about helping you learn how valuable you are, helping you see what you could really accomplish. I'm trying to help you unlock your own self, right? I'm trying to help you unlock your own self. I'm trying to help you unlock the keys, right, to your own potential. I'm trying to help you realize that it is beyond possible for you to do all of the things that you want to do, right? Trading is just a vehicle. But what happens when you make $30,000 in a month, right? What happens when you're making $1,000 a day, right? You're going to feel unfulfilled if you don't have a real purpose. And so I want to help you guys, you know, find more of yourself, right, through all of my videos. That's my goal, right? Totally appreciate your generosity. Yeah, absolutely. That's just how I be. That's just how I be rolling. You know what I mean? You in it every day? Yeah, every single day, right? Win, lose, or draw. I took an L today in the market, right? I took an L, called it, Discord. I took an L, right? But every single day I'm gonna show up, period, right? Because it don't matter. It's not about a loss. It's about the long term. People about to become millionaires. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is about. That's what this is really about. Yeah, I hope them stocks keep going up, right? I hope SoFi open up 10%, right, on the equity, so we could eat good because we in a swing right now. All right. Dr. V said that is why I always like the video. First thing I do. Hey, I appreciate that, Dr. V. For real, for real. Teaching you how to fish. Yeah. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna really give you guys actual practical information that you ain't got to pay $10,000 for, right? That's one thing. DJ Sean Allen, nobody is going broke. Exactly. Nah, not at all, right? Everybody is growing, getting money, $600 a day, $1,000 a day, you know, $2,000, $2,200. Like people making 5 figures a month in the Discord, right? I'm telling you, consistently, right? And people have learned how to lose. That's the key. You got to learn how to lose. If you do not learn how to lose, you will always be a loser, right? I know that may sound harsh, but it's just the reality of trading, okay? You got to learn how to take your L's on the chin, right? Boom, got me. All right, man, right? Go think about it, figure out what you did wrong, how you was even able to get hit, come back the next day, and you power through it and you get better. That's all you could do, right? We can't be crying. We can't be over here sad at ourselves. I get it. I understand the emotions. You may be frustrated with yourself, but tomorrow, wake up like you ain't take no L's, right? Know who you are, affirm yourself, get in that market and get this money. That's all you got to do. That's the mindset right there, right? That's why I always say this is deeper than trading. The candlesticks, that's going to take care of itself, right? The trades, that's going to take care of itself. But to look in the mirror and know who you are and know what you're made of and know how powerful you are, that's the real work. That's the real work right there, right? I'm telling you, the secret to making money in the stock market is becoming a better you, right? Becoming a better you. I'm telling you, that's the secret, right? She said, I like the video. hey, when I get on live on YouTube and I'll be seeing like 4 likes, I'll be like, man, you know, it's like a little hug, you know what I mean? So I sincerely, I appreciate all y'all tapping in. These study sessions, these live charting sessions and stuff like that. I'm just happy to be on y'all's journey, right? With you guys, I'm just happy to be on that journey and helping you guys understand this, get this, have breakthroughs and all of that stuff, right? Because one day we're going to be meeting in real life, right? One day we're going to have meetups. One day all of this stuff is going to happen. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I want to really build real relationships and connections, right? Rather than just, okay, I made a video, I'm unrelatable, bye, right? buy this or don't. I'm out of here. It's just not my style, right? Jumped in on the big word. Oh yeah, Mark Quinn. Mark Quinn, what up? Yeah, you missed it. We've been vibing. All right, we've been vibing on live, but yeah, we getting ready. I'm getting ready to get off, but I just wanted to share that with y'all. Okay, so we got hymns tomorrow. We got SPY, IWM, QQQ. Market gonna gap up, and we gonna see what happens. All right, we got to make sure that we reading price action. We could fill the gap to the downside. We could keep going. We just got to see where we open at pre-market and see where we at, see where the order blocks is at and all of that stuff. All right. Appreciate that, Eleanor. All right. So all that I ever ask y'all is to engage with my content. You know what I'm saying? That's all I ask for. I know I'm blessed, right? Life is beautiful. Just engage. If you see a video, like that video. You know what I'm saying? Send it to somebody you know trying to make some money in the market, trying to learn this stuff, right? If you know somebody that want a speaker, right? Send them my content. Show them the Wisdom Wednesdays, right? Like all of that stuff, right? That's all I ask for is just engage with my content. And then all we're going to do is we're going to continue to get better and better and better. And then we're going to keep growing and growing and growing. All right. Yeah, coin tomorrow might make a big move too. It made a big move to the downside today. We caught it on this live, right? Yesterday, I showed y'all the setup on coin and it went crazy. I was in IWM at the time, so I wasn't even paying attention to it. But tomorrow we got hymns. That's what's gonna be my main watch right there. So yeah, y'all. All right. So like I always say, man, make sure you get up out your head and go get into this world because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right. And also remember, I want you to say it with me. All right. The more you study, the less you worry. All right. Get in them books, man. All right. Y'all all have a great night. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow in the Discord. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow on YouTube. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow evening on YouTube Live. And we're going to chart. And we're going to come back and we're going to see how much money we made off of hymns tomorrow. All right? So all of y'all have a great night. All of y'all stay smooth. And I'm going to holler at you tomorrow. Peace.